This week in comic book horror, we return to check out a new batch of horror comics hitting the shelves this Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Let's check out this week in comic book horror, January 5th, 2022. From Blood, number 1 is from Cosmic Times. The story is by Zach Bassett, James Whynot, and Martin T. Pierro, with art by Zach Bassett and James Whynot. My friend James Whynot, who provided the art for my Grave Trancers series, inks and co-writes this creepy story about a forgotten mental patient and the hidden power he has over his captors in a mental hospital. Seems like some great potential for some dank and deadly horror. Can't wait to check it out. Provenance of Secrets, number 2, is from Scout Comics. The story is by Kiyarn, Taghan, with art by Dibari. My good pal Dibari provides the art for this Lovecraftian detective noir featuring a down-and-out detective who is cursed after reading The King in Yellow, a sinfully underappreciated Lovecraft story that goes to the depths of pitch darkness and the vastness of cosmic space. Dibari is a huge Lovecraft fan, so I guarantee he's going to do this story a whole lot of justice. Evil ERNIE, number 2, is from Dynamite Entertainment. The story is by Scott Lobdell, and the art is by Ariel Medel. I was a little put off by the almost ERNIE-less first issue of this series, but given that I'm an Evil ERNIE head from way back, I'll stick around to see what Scott Lobdell has to offer to the maniac addicted to murder and mayhem. This series delves into Ernest, ERNIE's alter ego, who is as good as ERNIE is bad. The Fourth Man, number 1, is from AWA Upshot. The story is by Jeff McComsey, and the art is by Loughridge and Mike Deodato. AWA Upshot has delivered some wonderful horror lately, with Hotel and Out, so I'm definitely interested in this new series, which leans closer towards thriller mystery than sheer terror and horror, but still, it's got some investigators looking into a triple homicide that ties back to dueling car dealerships. I love the blood-stained inflatable dancing guy on the cover. It's very iconic. Elvira Meets Vincent Price, number 4, is from Dynamite Entertainment. The story is by David Avallone, with art by Juan Samu. This has been a surprisingly fun series, mainly because David Avallone has nailed the voice of the snide and snippy Elvira and seems to really respect the work of Vincent Price. Two qualities very much needed in this series that honors both horror icons. I believe this issue wraps up the series that features international horrors from the past, present, and future, along with the occasional inundation of
ass, titties, ass and titties, ass, titties, titties, ass and titties.
NITA HAWES, Nightmare Blog, number 3, is from Image Comics. The story is by Rodney Barnes, and the art is by Well B. This spin-off from the hit series Philadelphia looks rock solid, and after I catch up with Philadelphia, this one is on my list to binge. This issue has our titular paranormal investigator looking into some strange murders in Baltimore, and everything points to something supernatural as the culprit. I'm loving the dark covers on this series, and look forward to diving into this Nightmare Blog very soon. Two Moons, number 8, is from Image Comics. The story is by John Arcudi, with art by Valerio Giangiordano. Two Moons, the lead in this horror western set in post-Civil War Kansas, explores the plight of the Native American and the conquering of his territory as America expands across the country, wiping out the indigenous culture. But the series looks at horrors from both sides. I've always been a big fan of John Arcudi since his days at DC with Major Bummer and of course The Mask. Here he's channeling his Jill R. Lansdale and depicting gnarly western action like few others have. Darkhold Omega, number 1, is from Marvel Comics. The story is by Steve Orlando, with art by Cian Tormey. Yes, this is another bloated Marvel series, but occasionally there were some very cool moments of horror in Darkhold. I really liked the Spider-Man issue where Peter outwits Mr. Fantastic and uses his body in a gruesome way that I've never seen done before. I also dug seeing Iron Man turn into a walking armor-wearing tumor hungry for flesh. This Omega issue wraps the whole thing up, but we definitely need more consistent, quality horror from Marvel. The Walking Dead number 30 is from Skybound. The story is by Robert Kirkman with art by Charlie Adlert. While some of the gang is at Woodsboro, Rick, Tyrese, Glenn, and Michonne are trying to wrap things up at the prison. Of course, there's a whole lot of zombies in the way. Relive one of the best comic series ever made, this time in color. Finally, we have Noctera, Blacktop Bill Special number 1. It's from Image Comics. The story is by Scott Snyder with art by Tony S. Daniel, Chris Sotomayor, and Dennis Cohen. This series has been great so far, so while the heroes are given a chance to breathe a bit, Scott Snyder uses this special issue to flesh out the series' lead villain, Blacktop Bill. With a simple, smiling, shadowy grin, Snyder and his artist, Tony S. Daniel, has designed a classic character full of menace, and I'm looking forward to finding a little bit more about him. Any of these new comics interest you? There's just a few horror this week, but there's some quality scares in there. Let me know which ones you're going to check out down in the comments. That'll be it for today. Please chime in down below in the comments and let me know how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. So guys, you know how YouTube works. I'd love to be able to dedicate more time to this channel. I'm not monetized yet, so if you want to help me out, remember to hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below. Want some spooky comics to read? I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look out for. Both Grave Trancers and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, can be found in only the finest of comic book shops. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on my website, mlmillerwrites.com. If you really want to show your support, I also have a Patreon page at mlmiller. Look for the link to my Patreon page down below. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life.